The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions, and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Teflon Pan Man. I'm the Teflon Pan Man. Ain't nothing gonna stick on me.
Hey everyone, welcome to All You Can Eat. It's the podcast about deliciousness. I'm your host, Rob Rosenthal, coming to you live today on the 24th day of June 2020. I do like saying 2020. Interesting time. Anyway, we like to talk about deliciousness. That is the nature of the program. And because it's just a couple of days into summer, let's talk about what makes summer delicious, aside from the fact that the weather is just ideal. I'm coming to you live, as I do, from the eastern end of Long Island, New York, where it's got to be, I don't know, like 74 and sunny. It's super bright outside, even though it's 8 p.m. It's a beautiful time of year. And it's a beautiful time to discuss deliciousness. What I'd like to propose to those of you listening live is to pour yourself an adult cocktail and sit, relax. Let's talk about things that are delicious. If you happen to be tuning into the podcast at any other time, then, do whatever. Make a drink, don't make a drink. But I'm here to stimulate your appetite. And for me, one of the things that happens in the summer is there's a slight change in the menu situation. And it starts with a cocktail. If I ask people, like, what is the prototypical kind of summer cocktail? Everybody has their own thing. Some people go, well, it's a frozen, something like a frozen margarita or a frozen daiquiri. Other people will go, hey, sex on the beach. That's good. You may just be the kind of person that says, I'm still drinking the same thing I always drink. I'll have a cold beer or a glass of white wine. But for me, gin and tonic is kind of like the quintessential summer cocktail. Gin is not the biggest or most popular of all your spirits. Probably vodka sells, 10 times as much. But when I think of summer, I do think of gin and tonic and a nice chunk of lime. And so I poured myself this evening some gin and some tonic. And as the guy who is your professional recommendation engine, let's start off tonight's show about summer deliciousness with recommendation number one. When you're going to have gin, nobody is going to argue with some of the standards. Tanqueray is fine. Tanqueray and tonic with a nice chunk of lime will not hurt you if you're a gin drinker. If you're the kind of person that goes, well, I have Beefeater. You know what? The professional drinkers will tell you that if you're going to make a martini, Beefeater is is kind of the standard. I would say that when it comes to gin and tonic, I like a brand called Martin Miller. Very tasty gin. Comes in two different kind of configurations. One is 80% proof. One is 100% proof, which means, it's stronger. But what I like about it is I like the taste. I mean, you can drink it kind of like neat. You could put it on rocks. You can add a squeeze of lemon. You can put a shot of tonic in there. But the primary ingredient in gin, of course, and in most spirits, is going to be water. And Martin Miller sources its water from Iceland, where they're pulling up some seriously, clean, clear, beautiful water. So if you haven't heard of it, if you haven't seen it, if you're interested in going, hey, you know what, I want to have a nice gin and tonic, Martin Miller is a way to go. And then because there's only really 3 ingredients in this drink, or 2 when it comes down to it, and then a squeeze of some citrus. Tonic water. There's average tonic water, and with everything else, there's better tonic water. I happen to like Schweppes. Canada Dry is not going to hurt you. There's a company called Q that claims to make a superior tonic water. I'm totally good with a nice shot of Schweppes. What you have to make sure of is that you open the bottle right then and there, because you want that crisp, carbonated, bubbly, sparkly tonic water with your gin. And then a nice piece of fresh lime. Nothing is more important in your cocktail than using the freshest, like with food, we're using the freshest possible ingredients. And so a piece of lime, as an example, in your gin and tonic, that's kind of like the standard, should be fresh squeezed. And that is one refreshing cocktail. The Spanish actually, and this is interesting because gin is always associated with England and London Dry Gin and Tanqueray and Beefeater. These are classic kind of English brands. But, the Spanish love their gin and tonic. And they serve it with a nice squeeze of, orange. Nothing wrong with that, my friends. High quality gin, good quality tonic, a couple of ice cubes, a squeeze of citrus, whether it's lime or orange, and you are good to go. Now, another kind of quintessential summer drink, especially for those who are wine drinkers, is your rosé. I guess the general rule on rosé is, you're going to serve it cold. And if you can get it from, France, particularly Provence, generally that would be a good thing to do. Here's my bottom line. I like a cold rosé, especially this time of year. It's good to have as an aperitif before you sit down to eat, and it's nice with food. So there you have it. I'm not going to recommend one particular brand or variety. There's 1,000 of them. Bon Jovi and his kid, they're making some lovely, I think they call it Hampton Water. They're doing some good gin, so that's lovely. But if you can get yourself a nice French rosé, good. Some of them, and they don't have to be French. Actually, there's rosé from all over the place. Some of it can be sparkling. Some of it can come from different grape varieties like Côte du Rhône. And you know what? A nice glass of cold rosé will not hurt you. Delicious. Perfectly good. Now, also on tonight's program, which the theme of which is recommendations for summer deliciousness, I want to tell you about a fan. And by a fan, I mean literally something that blows air around the room because, when it's warm and when it's summery, there are a number of ways to get cool, aside from jumping in the ocean or in the pool or turning on the air conditioning. And one of them is a high-quality fan, so I'm going to recommend something to you there. I want to talk about something that I discovered recently, and I was thrilled. It's literally a Japanese barbecue sauce. And so we're going to talk about that because I have a super recommendation there for you that will, with the squeeze of a bottle, improve essentially anything that you're going to throw on the grill. You got to like that. You got to like that you can go out and buy whatever ingredient it is that you want, whether it's pork, whether it's chicken, whether it's meat, whether it's steak, whether it's vegetable, whether it's fish, and know that with the squeeze of a bottle that probably has its own 10 ingredients in it, you can create super flavorful, delicious food. So I'm going to tell you about that. What are the recommendations? And, so those are the key recommendations. And then I want to discuss with you, I want to share with you what I've discovered about ice cream. Because Look, I for those of you who listen, I'm a trained cook with a professional cooking degree. I am a cookbook author. I cook all the time. I have a particular philosophy about the way I cook. Get the best ingredients you can. Don't screw them up too much. Don't use too many ingredients. Get the best ingredients you can. And my formula, most taste, fewest ingredients, least effort. And so when it comes to least effort, man, if you can find something that you can squeeze from a bottle over whatever it is that you're making, it improves your food, you win-win. Super win-win. That said, when it comes to dessert, I confess, I'm a little bit of a simpleton in that, somebody goes, hey, what do you want for dessert? I don't know. I'm happy with like a biscotti or a dish of ice cream. Like, I think ice cream is just a beautiful, simple, sweet, soft, creamy, fabulous dessert. So tonight, in addition to the recommendations that I will make to you, tonight, I want to talk all about ice cream. I want to literally spend the bulk of this program on deliciousness, on the subject of ice cream, what's popular, what people like, what flavors are out there. And I don't have an answer. It's not like I'm here to say that there's one versus the other. I just want to talk about ice cream, mostly because I want you to see what's possible and think about what it is that excites you in ice cream. Ice cream is one of those things that it's really hard to find somebody that doesn't like it. You can, people can make a case that they don't like, cilantro, or they don't like garlic, or they don't like, one thing or another. Oh, I don't eat shrimp, or, I don't eat, pork or whatever. But I mean, how many people do you know that go, I will not eat ice cream? And so we'll spend some time on ice cream tonight. But before we do, let me tell you about a product. It's a fan. You don't think about fans, do you? I mean, you just, if you need one, you just kind of go have one and get one and whatever. But there's a company that produces a fan that goes under the name of Woozoo. And when I say Woozoo, I mean literally Woozoo. Woozoo. And I love these things. I really do. They are what I would call kind of a personal fan. And it moves air around. So you don't necessarily have to turn on the air conditioning. You don't necessarily have to do anything other than, if you have a Woozoo fan, this thing will cool an entire room in minutes, because it is designed to maximize airflow and to minimize noise. So it's quiet and it's efficient, and you can use it all year round, but I particularly like it in the summer. So if I were you, my friends, I would find Woozoo, Woozoo. Let me just see if I can find their site. Let's see if I can get. Oh, there we go. The answer is, ladies and gentlemen, for your Woozoo personal fan, it is Iris, USA. So IRIS, Iris, USA, INC.com. I mean, you could probably look up Woozoo personal fan, WOOZOO personal fan. But I'm here on their site, and it's Iris, IRIS, USA, Inc.com, because they make a number of products. Their fans go from, oscillating to remote control to globe. But here's the bottom line. I'm using one of their fans. It gets me full room circulation. It is, they have beautifully kind of, the design is good. For example, if you have like a flood in the basement, I'm saying this out of personal experience, unfortunately, and you want to move the air around, you take this like 3, 4, 5 pound, fan and drop it down there, and it's on an axis, so you could move it around, and it's on these are really extraordinarily great. I would say they probably run the range in price from anywhere between like $35 and $100, depending on how many different features you want to get with it. But what you want to know is that if you're looking for a high quality fan for your room, for your bedroom, for your home, to do whatever it does. I really, really think these things are terrific. Woozoo, WOOZOO, that you can find at irisusa.com. That is an excellent product. And for those of you who know me, you know I am here only as your recommendation engine, and I'm only interested in recommending what is extraordinary. So I like that Woozoo a lot. I would turn it on right now, but let's see. I don't want to make too much noise here because it will be literally blowing right into the mic. Get yourself a Woozoo fan. Really, that's a really excellent product. Love that. What's next on the agenda? We talked about Martin Miller Gin. We have discussed the Woozoo fan, and my third recommendation tonight is another revelation because it came to me out of the blue. Somebody sent me some of this Japanese barbecue sauce. Now, again, if you know me, you know that I like all types of food. I'm particularly intrigued by food that comes from different parts of the world. I give classes in the subject of herbs and spices from around the world that will literally change the way that you eat, change the flavor profile of what it is that you have. And so somebody said, hey, you want to try some of this Japanese barbecue sauce? I say, yes, of course. I literally got this stuff 5-6 months ago. And, to be honest, I opened it. I might have put some on top of cooked food. I might have smelled it. Nothing really ever registered for me. And, in terms of full disclosure, I will literally only recommend those things that I am committed to because I'm under no obligation. Nobody's paying me to recommend something. So, or if they did, I would tell you. So I'm under no obligation. If somebody sends me something and I like it, I go, hey, I like it. And if I don't, I can either ignore it. I can tell you I don't like it. The Woozoo fan, I like. Your Martin Miller's gin, lovely. But here is a Japanese barbecue sauce, and here's the nature of this one. The other night, I'm going to go on the grill, and I have a couple of loin of pork that I picked up from the Costco. Because those of you who know me know, Costco ho. That's me. I'm there every week. I pick up some pork, and to me, the loin of pork is an easy one because you throw it on the grill. You can flavor it any way you want. Like, you could throw some dry rub on it. You could throw your favorite dry spices on it. You can marinate. You can marinate it. You can you can brine it if you want. What does that mean? That means that you take that whole loin of pork, or you could do it with pork chops, and you take some and you top it with water. You put in a whole bunch of salt and sugar and basically let it sit for a while, which softens and flavors the meat, and then you dry the heck out of it before you throw it onto the grill. Now, the other night, I cut up the loin into chunks and put it on a skewer, alternating with pieces of onion and some pepper that I had. So, piece of pork, piece of onion, piece of pepper, piece of pork, piece of onion, piece of pepper. And then I doused this stuff with a Japanese barbecue sauce known as Bachans, Bachans. What else can I say? BACHAN apostrophe S. Bachans, the original Japanese barbecue sauce. And there's nothing else. There's no salt on my skewers. There's no pepper. There's simply pork and onion and pepper. And now, Bachans Japanese barbecue sauce. And then I took in addition to the skewers, I took an entire loin of pork, like the whole thing. Just a beautiful piece of pork meat. And I douse it with this Bachans, both sides. And I throw it onto the barbecue. And then, when I turn it over, I take this squeezed bottle of Bachans and I squeeze it over the pork. And you know what that does? It wets the meat and it creates the smoke and, because the liquid hits the fire. And then, 5 or 10 minutes later, everybody is happily sucking down giant chunks of grilled pork with this sauce on it. Now, here's what I will remind you, my friends. I wrote a cookbook, Short Order Dad, based on the idea that I went to cooking school so you don't have to, and the formula was get the best ingredients you can, don't mess them up too much, and 6 words, most taste, fewest ingredients, least effort. All right, so here I have pork and I have bachans. I'm talking 2 ingredients. Now, does the bachans have 10 different flavors in it? By all means. That's the beauty. It's 1 to me. It's 10 to my taste buds. They make this stuff in small batches using fresh ingredients. These are Japanese ingredients, and they're all natural, and they're non-GMO certified, and they are fabulous. Garlic, ginger, and scallion, and soy. And what you want to do is you want to go to Bachans, BACHANS.com, because this stuff is magnificent. I had no idea. I was literally sitting on this stuff for 6 months, and now all of a sudden, I throw it onto the pork, and I'm going, I just need more of this right now. Soy is one of those things that has like a natural kind of, obviously it's a little bit salty, but it has like a natural kind of umami. In other words, it really appeals to your taste buds. You start throwing in garlic and ginger and scallion, and you have this beautiful flavor that goes on whatever food that you want to make it on. So you can have it on meat, you can do it on fish, you can have it on veggies, you can put it on rice and anything else. And here's the beauty about the bachans. You can squirt it on your food before you put it on the grill, while it's on the grill, and frankly, when it comes off the grill. Get yourself some bachans, BACHANS.com. Really an easy recommendation for me. Delicious stuff. Glad to have it, glad to try it. It made my food exciting. Now, let me just grab a sip of rosé here. Hang on 1 second. When it's good, it's really good. And now, my friends, you have gin, you have tonic, you got a Wuzu fan blowing your way, and you have already placed an order for Bachans Japanese barbecue sauce. Woo! Love that stuff. Maybe, like me, you are enjoying a sip of French rosé. And then you get to the point where you're starting to think about dessert. Now, when it comes to the summer, nobody will argue with you if you have fresh, cherries or berries or a lovely piece of melon, or maybe you decide to go with some type of berry crisp. Maybe you're going to have, just some grapes or watermelon. Oh, my God, ice cold watermelon is great on its own. I mean, it's fine in a frozen watermelon margarita. But then there's this thing called ice cream. Let's talk about ice cream for the balance of our time. The most delicious ice cream flavors. Let's see. I have done a little study here. And the first one, I'm always skeptical of these type of polls, like the best, the most popular, the type, because everything kind of really depends on what the source is and what's credible and what isn't. But when you start to look at 4 or 5 of these things, certain patterns and trends emerge. Let's talk about ice cream. So when I talk about ice cream with you, I want you to kind of imagine what it is that you love. So, for example, if I look at the top 15, here's an article. It's called the top 15 most popular ice cream flavors. You ready for this? Number 1, vanilla. 29% of people responding made that their favorite flavor. That made it number one, literally vanilla. I guess I won't get too worked up about this at this point. I get it. I don't respect it, but I get it. Number two, like a whole 1,000 points away, is chocolate. Well, look at us, exciting Americans. Our two most popular flavors are vanilla and chocolate. Then we move into butter pecan and strawberry. Unbelievable to me. Neapolitan, that's going to be three different flavors, isn't it? Based on kind of the Italian thing. Chocolate chip, okay, that's 3.9%. French vanilla, as if that were fundamentally different from vanilla. Cookies and cream, great. Vanilla fudge ripple, more vanilla. Praline pecan, 1.7%, and cherry, 1.6%. Then we move into the last bunch: chocolate almond, tiny; coffee, tiny; Rocky Road, tiny; chocolate marshmallow, and then all the others. This is from the International Ice Cream Association in Washington, D.C. And your top flavors basically in America work out to be vanilla, chocolate, butter pecan, strawberry, and chocolate chip. Super hard to get excited about that. It's not that I would turn any of them down. I like a good ice cream. But man, do you know what's out there? Have you considered what is available to you flavor-wise? Like, how many people are going, I must have vanilla? Well, the greatest number of people. There is another site that's called Ranker, whose sole reason for existence is to get people to vote and thereby rank any one of a number of different categories. In this case, the category is ice cream. Number one right now is cookies and cream. Then comes vanilla and French vanilla and vanilla bean, so literally vanilla. Chocolate chip, great, at least there's some texture in there. Chocolate. Cookie dough. Chocolate brownie, interesting. Homemade vanilla, because we just apparently can't get enough vanilla. Something called brownie batter, which is interesting, kind of a chocolatey Ben & Jerry's flavor with soft brownie batter in it. Mint chocolate chip, which a lot of people go for because they like mint. I do not. Strawberry, like never for me. Peanut butter cup. Now we're starting to get a little bit more interesting when you start to add in kind of the other flavors, right? Who doesn't? Well, if you like peanut butter, I mean, there's nothing wrong with ice cream that has peanut butter cup. And then we get into Rocky Road. Now, for me, Rocky Road is significant because, you know, I grew up near a Baskin-Robbins, 31 flavors. And there's no question in my mind that I was a Rocky Road guy. Why? Because in addition to the ice cream, it had all those other things in it. And it was the other things that made the ice cream interesting, whether it was going to be chips or marshmallows or nuts or whatever. Rocky Road was kind of my original, let's get out of chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, coffee mode and see what happens when you add texture and bites and other things into the thing. Number 15, cake batter. Number 16, Neapolitan. Caramel ice cream was not a big thing when I was growing up, but it certainly is now, whether you call it caramel, salted caramel, dulce de leche. You know, caramel's a beautiful flavor. And what is caramel? It's essentially cooked sugar that gets kind of super sweet and gooey and syrupy, and with ice cream, it's a beautiful thing. Mint Oreo cookies, sure. Moose Tracks. I can't tell you exactly what's in Moose Tracks, but I know that I like it because it's kind of like a current day Rocky Road. You know, it has things like marshmallow and chips and crunchies and all that kind of stuff. So you get the combination of both the ice cream and the texture and the added flavors that come from when, you know, you put in chips and all that kind of stuff. Snickers ice cream. Interesting, right? Because who's going to argue with that if you like Snickers? Rainbow sherbet, I swear I've never seen anybody, I don't know a human being that orders it. Peanut butter and chocolate, nobody's going to argue with that. Chocolate chip. Now, if you're a chocolate person, You like the idea of chocolate chip because basic chocolate chip is vanilla ice cream. Chocolate chip, you got a lot of stuff going on. Strawberry cheesecake, butter pecan, birthday cake, orange sherbet. Coffee is kind of like the gin of ice cream. It'll never be as big as the other flavors. There are always going to be 7% of the population that go, I'll drink gin and I'll drink coffee and I'll eat coffee ice cream. Lemon sorbet, raspberry flavored, Reese's peanut butter cups. However, when you start to incorporate that into ice cream, it gets interesting. And then there's a brand called Kit Kat ice cream. And if you like a Kit Kat, and I do, and who doesn't, black cherry ice cream, mocha. Personally, huge fan of that combination of coffee with chocolate. There's mocha flavor. Ben & Jerry's is doing a New York Super Fudge Chunk. Now it's getting interesting to me. And there's Dulce de Leche on this rank list, number 38, because there's your caramel flavor again. Butterscotch, and then there is a half-baked from, we're going to get to Ben & Jerry's after. They have their own separate list. Fudge Ripple. That's a nice ice cream, isn't it? Like a vanilla ice cream with those kind of streams of those tributaries or whatever they are of kind of fudge, like literally rippling through your ice cream like that. Mango and peach. These are good. They don't strike me as ice cream so much as they do kind of more of a sorbet. Blueberry, peppermint, white chocolate, hard to find. Strawberries and cream, Oreo, vanilla ice cream with chunks of Oreo. I would have that in a heartbeat. Pistachio, interesting. Red velvet cake, and then we just go on here to, Cherry Garcia. Coconut ice cream, nice. Rocky Mountain. Okay, so a lot of flavor. Oh, s'mores, that's interesting. Pralines and cream, nice. Mocha. So there's 1,000 flavors here that it just goes on and on. Apple pie, I've never even seen. Caramel macchiato from, looks like it's from, I don't know, is that at Starbucks? I don't know what that is. That looks good. Pumpkin ice cream, root beer, pineapple, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there's 100 literally flavors of ice cream, including, by the way, Ben & Jerry's Chubby Hubby and Nestle Butterfinger Bar and Cherry Cola, fish food, Jamocha almond fudge. That's 100 on the list, and I've actually had that. Caramel sucha. Anyway, the list go. Oh, green tea. Green tea ice cream is interesting if you're eating Japanese food. Okay, so there's I don't know. This list literally. Why are there 116? I mean, daiquiri and peanut brittle and ginger and spumoni and okay. I can't look at this because it's just absurd. But the point of the story is the same. That in addition to your vanilla and your chocolate and your strawberry and your butter pecan and whatever, there's some great ice cream out there, isn't it? What's your favorite? What do you love in ice cream? 10 best ice cream brands and flavors to eat for dessert tonight. Let's see what this list says. Number 1, a brand I never heard of. And the brand is Jenny's, JENI''S. Do you get this where you are? You can get it on, apparently you can get it on, all these are available on Instacart, which of course is very of the moment. Very like, I'm going to have some food delivered to your house. The only problem with delivering ice cream is that it can get there pretty melty. Darkest chocolate ice cream from Jenny's. Here's what it says, the description. Calling all chocolate lovers, Midwestern ice cream queen Jenny Britton Bauer and her team have mastered the intense chocolate flavor without any of the bitterness of dark cocoa powder. This sophisticated pint is perfect on its own. Yeah, I would have that. I mean, if you're a chocolate person, you want to have that. Number 2, this is a surprise to me. Whole milk vanilla frozen yogurt. I don't know why it's even in this category, but I suppose, if it's good, it's interesting. Frozen yogurts can be light and icy. We love Stonyfield's carton for its thick, rich, and custardy texture and intense vanilla flavor. I would try this. Stonyfield Organic Whole Milk Frozen Yogurt, number 2. Number 3 on this list, Roman Raspberry Sorbetto from the company known as Talenti. Now, if you haven't had Talenti, get your hands on it because this stuff is the real deal. Talenti. I like some of their other stuff, but apparently their Roman Raspberry Sorbetto is good. If you're looking for a tart and refreshing frozen treat that tastes like legit fruit, grab a spoon and dig into this pint from Talenti. It's full of decadent raspberry flavor. Berries are the first ingredient, and a squeeze of lemon juice. Nice. Here's number 4: your mint chocolate cookie ice cream from Ben & Jerry's. Now we're going to get to Ben & Jerry's after because they do, so many great flavors. But here on this list, we love this mashup of cookies and cream and mint chocolate chip for its spoonfuls, loaded with Oreos in each bite. Minty flavor is refreshing, but definitely doesn't overpower the crumbs, and big pieces of cookies will take a scoop. Nice. If you're a coffee ice cream person, ladies and gentlemen, number 5, the best coffee ice cream, according to this particular poll, is brought to you by Haagen-Dazs. Made with only 5 ingredients, Haagen-Dazs has mastered the decadent coffee flavor and smooth texture of this elegant ice cream. One taster said, "This is the best coffee ice cream I've ever had." And really, I'm going down. I'm having ice cream after this. I'm just telling you that right now. I don't even care about dinner right now. Ben & Jerry's, number 6, the Ben & Jerry's ice cream chocolate chip cookie dough core. No need to dig with this addition to the core lineup. You can find all the chewy cookie goodness at the center of the pint of this seriously nostalgic ice cream. I got to be honest with you, I don't know what makes it nostalgic. I mean, it's chocolate chip cookie dough, whatever. It can't be bad. I don't know if it's nostalgic. Number 7 is a company and a brand called Graeter's, famous in the Cincinnati area. Been doing this for like 100 years. Here, what shows up on the list is their French pot ice cream. It's a black raspberry chocolate chip. This is super appealing. I've never had it. I don't remember ever having black raspberry ice cream. But if I were going to have black raspberry ice cream, I would certainly have it with chocolate chip in it. And Graeter's is a company that's been in Cincinnati for 100 years. I want that. Here we are back to Talenti. They're doing a gelato caramel cookie crunch. I like everything that Talenti does. You can get it in your supermarket. This is super high-end, super premium ice cream. They do great flavors, the salted caramel. Here you have their gelato caramel with the cookie crunch in it. You know that's going to be good. I just would love to have that right now. I do not have that in the house. Serendipity is a super famous restaurant on East 60th Street in New York City, New York, where you go in for their frozen hot chocolate and their super duper ice cream sundaes. Apparently, they have packaged ice cream known as humble pie. The iconic New York City restaurant packed its signature desserts like the peanut butter pie into pints, rich peanut butter ice cream, swirled with peanut butter and dotted with big chocolate chunks and graham cracker pieces. This carton is an epic dessert all on its own. Okay, apparently you can order this online. I've never had it, I've never seen it, and I'm desperate for it. Peanut butter ice cream with peanut butter dotted with chocolate chunks and graham cracker pieces? Why have I not seen that before? I want it right now, and I mean right now. And number 10, another brand that I haven't heard of, it's called Cool House, C-O-O-L, Cool, H-A-U-S, Cool House Ice Cream. This one is their awesome streetcar churro dough. And if you haven't had a churro, it's just this beautiful, foot-long, essentially frosted donut. And it says, this women-owned business makes the most creative concoctions we've ever tasted, and we're here for it. Our tasters love this fun combo of rich brown butter ice cream with spiced cookie dough and a bit of chocolate swirled through the pint. This is Cool House Ice Cream Street Cart Churro Dough. I'll take one of those. I got 2 things left here, one of which is let's see what this list is, because I like these lists. Oh, every Ben & Jerry's flavor ranked. That's one. We could rank every Ben & Jerry flavor. Or, alternatively, I like this one, the most iconic ice cream flavor in every state. Let's do that. Alphabetical order, here are the best ice cream flavors in every state according to whomever. Taste of home, it doesn't matter. These polls are interesting for, at least for no other reason than that it gets your palate stimulated. Let's talk about the most iconic ice cream flavor in every single state, starting with the state of Alabama. And the flavor is butter pecan. Alabama's state nut is the pecan. So is it any wonder folks in Alabama love this ingredient in their ice cream? Butter pecan is one of the best ice cream flavors at Parlors statewide. Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Number 2, Alaska. They do something in Alaska called Eskimo Ice Cream. It's unique to Alaska, commonly called Eskimo Ice Cream or akutak. Isn't quite traditional. It's a mixture of whipped fat and berries, like cranberries, blueberries. Today, it's commonly made with the addition of cream and sugar for a sweeter treat. So if you happen to be in Alaska, Arizona is interesting because here they're saying that the ice cream flavor is horchata. And part of the reason is because horchata has a Mexican origin, and there's an awful lot of high Mexican population in Arizona. Arizona is home to a company called Sweet Republic, a small-scale ice creamery. The brand distributed throughout the state comes up with new flavors. One of the most iconic, though, blends ice cream with the state's Mexican influence. The result is horchata, a creamy combo of ice cream and cinnamon. Normally, when you get horchata, it's kind of like an almond, milk shake. Also, cinnamon. Lovely, delicious, excellent. Arkansas, banana nut. I would not have get that. I guess there's no southern dessert that matches up the flavors of a good banana pudding unless you count the banana ice cream. In Arkansas, banana nut is the winner. California, this one kind of surprised me. Neapolitan. According to the California Dairy Press Room, California has been the nation's top ice cream producing state for the last 2 decades, and the flavor with the highest demand, it's not one flavor, it's actually all 3. It's Neapolitan, which is made of chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry, all lined up side by side. So if you're a fan, California is giving you 3 flavors in one. Big state. Colorado, your root beer float. Nobody going to argue with a big glass of root beer loaded up with a scoop of ice cream. And so you got that. Connecticut, I don't know. What would you guess? I mean, who knows what you would say? When it comes to candy bars, Almond Joys have got to be right up there. Dark chocolate combined with coconut and almond, a classic combo invented in New Haven back in 1946. The candy bar was a success. We think it's better when those ingredients are swirled into ice cream. I would have that. I'd so totally have that. Delaware. Again, out of nowhere. Delaware, the big flavor is mint chip. For the last 3 years in running, mint chip has been Delaware's favorite based on how often Delaware folks tweet about it. Who can blame them? Mint and chocolate iconic combo. Florida. When I tell you what the flavor is for Florida, then you're not surprised. It's actually orange cream because Floridians love their oranges. They love ice cream, and the best way to cool off after a hot day, put the 2 ingredients together, and you have this amazing treat. It's called the Dreamsicle. Lovely. Now, we move into Georgia. Go ahead. You know what the fruit in Georgia is. Guess the ice cream. And the answer is, it's peach. Peach anything. Hands down, one of the great flavors. Georgia is home to, some of the best peaches in the country. So they do peach ice cream down there. Everybody's making their own and blah, blah, blah. Peach ice cream. Georgia, lovely. Now in Hawaii, they're doing something called Ubi Ube. America's most exotic destination. You expect an exotic flavor to rank as one of the top ice cream flavors. Hawaiians love Ubi ice cream. Ubi is a type of purple-colored yam that's native to native to tropical locales. Sweet, kind of vanilla-esque, has some floral notes. and beautiful. And here's the thing about it, by the way, it's purple. I mean, literally, it's a lavender-looking stuff. And so you go to Hawaii, you're going to have a little bit of Ube ice cream. Now, speaking of purple, when you go to Idaho, Boise, Idaho, huckleberry is the state fruit. So locals love to incorporate the berry into all kinds of treats like, huckleberry ice cream. It's tart and creamy, and I've not had it, but you know what? Then again, I haven't been to Idaho. Hard to imagine. I've been on 6 continents. I've never been to Idaho. Illinois. Back in the day, Chicago-based Walgreens served up malted milkshakes at the counter and popularized their drink nationwide. They may have stopped serving ice cream, but the folks in Illinois have never lost the taste for chocolate malt, and so now they're getting chocolate malt ice cream in Illinois. What do we got next? Indiana. That's the state where Mike Pence is from. So you might be thinking vanilla, but in fact, Indiana ranks second in the nation in ice cream production, second only to California. And it happens to be where Edie's Ice Cream is headquartered, and the brand receives really good reviews for its chocolate ice cream. So Indiana, your flavor, chocolate ice cream. Chocolate. I could have it. Be happy with it. I want to throw some chocolate chips into it, maybe a little whipped cream, whatever. Iowa, you're having bunny tracks. Ice cream giant Blue Bunny calls Iowa home. Outside of vanilla, Bunny Tracks is the brand's most popular flavor. It's a combination of vanilla ice cream, caramel fudge swirls, chocolate-covered peanuts, and peanut butter. Okay, let me say this again because I like stuff that has tracks in the name. It's a combination of vanilla ice cream, caramel fudge swirls, chocolate-covered peanuts, and peanut butter. I'm going to go through 50 states here. I've gone through 15. But I'm going to tell you right now, nobody is beating this. Ice cream, caramel, fudge, chocolate-covered peanuts, and peanut butter. Bunny Tracks, Iowa. I have new respect for Iowa. Kansas is doing something called Purple Pride. What is it? It's blueberry ice cream. Number 17 is the state of Kentucky. What do you think? You know what Kentucky is famous for. Leave it to Kentucky to blend the most popular export, bourbon, into ice cream. Flavors like bourbon vanilla, bourbon pecan, bourbon praline are popular statewide. I would love to have that. And I suppose, by the way, if I were going to have like ice cream, like vanilla ice cream, you could always, top it with some bourbon. What would be wrong with that? Louisiana. So when you go to Louisiana, and I'm thinking New Orleans, you probably will end up seeing some pecans down there or some pralines down there. Walk the streets of New Orleans and you'll stumble on confectionery after confectionery selling homemade pralines. And so they're made from brown sugar, cream, butter. Pecans are a must. Whether you eat them on their own or you mix them into praline pecan ice cream. Louisiana, good for you. Maine, I've had the blueberry pie up there. It's outstanding, and because Maine is famous for its tart blueberries, when you go to Maine, you get yourself some blueberry ice cream. Maryland, they have something there called Maryland Mud ice cream. Baltimore, chocolate base, chocolate chips, Oreo pieces. If you like chocolate, this one's for you. Massachusetts is doing maple nut. It's the closest creamy ice cream studded with crunchy walnuts and maple kind of walnut crispy things. Lovely. Michigan has a flavor called Superman. And even though the origins are somewhat of a mystery, Michiganders, they they down this stuff by the gallon. Yellow, red, and blue ice cream is typically a blend of cherry, lemon, and blue moon ice cream. And who knows what that even means. Apparently, we're going to find out more about blue moon ice cream when we get ourselves to Wisconsin. But that's Superman. Minnesota, bless you, salted caramel. Nobody's going to argue with that. Mississippi, ladies and gentlemen, Mississippi mud. That's your ice cream down there. It's a chocolate base, swirled with fudge, got chocolate cookies, nuts, and sometimes maybe some coffee. Super rich, and I would have it. Then you get to Missouri, chocolate chip cookie dough. 100 years after the waffle cone was invented at the St. Louis World's Fair in 1904, chocolate chip cookie dough has bits of waffle cone in it. Montana, might not have guessed this, but out in the wilderness over there, they're making s'mores, and so they put it into the ice cream. So the flavor out in Montana is going to be s'mores, and that would be lovely. Nebraska, butter brickle, right? Butter brickle, sweet ice cream studded with small crunchy pieces of golden brown toffee. A reminder, by the way, that if you want to make an amazing dessert on your own, most taste fused ingredients, least effort, remember me? Vanilla ice cream, a shot of super hot espresso. That combination is called affogato. It's great on its own, like a coffee flavored syrupy flavor that when you put on top of the ice cream, it gets just like melty and great and delicious. But I just always put in these Heath Bar Crunch in there. And that's essentially what you're looking at here in Nebraska, is ice cream that has that kind of studded with pieces of toffee. Delicious. In Nevada, they're having dark chocolate. I'm good with that. You be in a casino, you think it's always dark outside. I like super dark chocolate. New Hampshire is having pumpkin ice cream for a reason I don't understand. And let's see what else. New Jersey. I would not have guessed this for New Jersey, but the flavor here is watermelon, ladies and gentlemen. You have watermelon. It seems more ices than ice cream, but you can get watermelon ice cream, and you can get what they call over there a watermelon roll. It's watermelon and lemon combined with chocolate chip seeds. That looks interesting to me. New Mexico chocolate chili. It's actually a fascinating combination that you can take a chocolate flavor and you can mix it with a chili flavor, and it's delicious. Chocolate chili ice cream out of New Mexico. Perfect. New York, I might not have guessed this, but it's called New York Cherry. When it comes to ice cream, New Yorkers take the sweet and tart New York Cherry ice cream, and I don't know. I mean, I trust John. This is why I don't trust these polls, because I don't even know if that's available to me or if I've seen it before, but whatever. North Carolina, Wolf Tracks. Now, remember, I like tracks. What do they put in Wolf Tracks in North Carolina? Vanilla ice cream, chunks of fudge, and mini peanut butter cups. Hello. No problem. That's why I said anything with tracks works for me. North Dakota, rhubarb pie. Okay, fine. Ohio, chocolate peanut butter. I like Ohio. Oklahoma, strawberry ice cream. Beauty. Oregon, berries and cream, because you're going to get great blackberries out there, and blueberries and Marion berries, so that's all good. Delicious. Ooh, this one looks good. Pennsylvania's doing brownie. Brownie. Pennsylvania's the home of Hershey's, of course. Brownie ice cream. Rhode Island, espresso. Coffee milk is the state beverage. They make espresso ice cream, which would be great with a shot of espresso in it. South Carolina does something called Payday. So here you have caramel, vanilla ice cream, and peanuts, because they do a lot of peanuts. South Dakota, cookies and cream. Tennessee is doing cotton candy ice cream, whatever that means. And Texas, homemade vanilla. Okay, fine. Number 44, Utah, cherry chip. Flavor is good. Cherry to cook. Oh, they take some, the state fruit is cherry over there, so they do cherry ice cream, and they add some chocolate chips to it. And I would have that. Vermont, Tea-Berry, who has any clue what that is? And then Virginia is doing caramel apple ice cream, which of course would be lovely. Washington, because Seattle is the coffee capital of the world, so Washington is just completely coffee and espresso flavored ice cream, especially with some donuts in it. That's fantastic. West Virginia, black walnut ice cream, lovely. Wisconsin is doing this thing called Blue Moon. Who knows what's in it? Origins are unclear, but I can't even tell you what's in Blue Moon in Wisconsin. And finally, number 50 is Wyoming oatmeal cookie dough. Ladies and gentlemen, we haven't even had the opportunity to get to the list of every Ben & Jerry's flavor ranked. But here's what it is that we know. We know that ice cream is a beautiful thing, and you need to expand your palate if all you're thinking about is vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, and those kind of things, because there's 100 other thrilling flavors out there. Get yourself a good fan, a bottle of gin, some rosé, Bashan's barbecue sauce. Come back with me next week for episode number 84 of All You Can Eat here on Armed Radio Live on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can also find All You Can Eat if you check out iHeart Radio or even Spotify. The podcast is available to you. And so, my friends, that is it for this evening. A pleasure to be with you. I will be back with you next week. Until then, remember this, that life is short, so never waste a meal.
I'm the Teflon Pan Man. I'm the Teflon Pan Man. Ain't nothing gonna stick on